Let's go.
Hey everyone, I'm MSK, aka Master Swag King, coming at you guys today with another video. And if you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, then please consider subscribing to the channel if you have not already. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it and comment down below. Also, make sure to hit the notification bell. That way you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video or go live. And in today's video, we are going to be doing a movie review on M. Night Shyamalan's newest movie, Trap. And joining me here today in this movie review for M. Night Shyamalan's newest movie, Trap, is Full Metal Nate and Darnell Quigley. So, in the description box below, I will leave their YouTube channels and Twitter's link down below. And make sure you guys go over there to their channels, give them a sub, and follow them on any of the social media platforms that they are on, which would be Twitter, which is the ones I will link, actually. So, as you guys know from me, M. Night Shyamalan is certainly one of the directors of all time. He either makes apparently some of the best movies or some of the worst ones, right? So the only movies I've seen from this guy, and by seeing, I'm talking about in parts too, some of them. I've seen The Happening, which was a Mark Wahlberg, Zoe Deschanel. My brother bought it on DVD from a liquor store. I was like, that's kind of cool. Like the promotional art looked cool. You put it in, if I ever did this as a video, top worst movies ever, that is going to be one of them. That movie is steaming dog vomit.
It is literally one of the worst movies ever made. Yeah. So
people know this about me. I was never into like Avatar: The Last Airbender, and they said there was a movie out, and I was like, "M. Night Shyamalan." I was like, "Wait, hold! I know that guy. That guy directed The Happening. That movie was trash." Guess what I did? I checked it out at a friend's house. I went to my friend James, so I was at his house one time, and I was flipping through the channels. It came on, and I was like, "All right, this can't be that bad as everyone says." No, it's bad.
Like, it takes a guy 10 judo backflips just to move one rock.
If
actually
you didn't see the movie, it was so dark. It was so dark you couldn't see shit. Oh, you saw
That's how you can tell that movie's not good. It was voted worst movie of the decade from 2010 to 2020. Come on, how that movie outmatches every other shit movie you probably watch, and there have been some bad ones. So the movie after that I saw from his, and this was in parts too, was After Earth. I saw a little bit.
Oh God!
Oh,
no!
And then he didn't direct this, but he produced it. He produced a movie called Devil, where the people were in the elevator and they dropped a piece of toast and I figured out who the devil was, and I was like,
here's the thing about Devil. Devil could have been really cool if you hadn't
the
fact that it's the fucking devil.
It was cool, man. I dug it.
I'm not saying the movie wasn't cool. I'm just saying you already know what the I'm just saying you already know what the fucking twist is because it's on the poster.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean?
As you guys know, on my days off, people I like to watch a League of Legends podcast called Summoning Insight with Monte Cristo and Thorin. They had a new episode up, and I clicked on it, and it had a trailer for it. I don't have ad blocker. I like to support the content creators that I like, because if any of you guys ever got like ads, and I want to support you guys with advertisements, so I played it. I was like, this was kind of cool, and I was like, fuck. Directed by M. Night Shyamalan. You know what's crazy? All three of us said the exact same thing before we watched this steaming pile of dog shit, and we were right. We convinced ourselves he wasn't that stupid, and he did it. And I'll explain it right now. We all told ourselves that he wasn't going to spoil the twist in the trailer. And to be fair, the actual revealing twist pales in comparison to this. I'm not shitting you. If you play Trap Trailer 1, you've watched the entire movie. I'm not kidding you. Play the first trailer, you watch the whole movie.
Well,
he actually did it. He actually did it. He put the serial killer in the trailer. Well, he actually did it. We convinced ourselves he wasn't going to do it. We're like, okay, he's not that stupid. Like, come on, he's not that dumb. No. We were wrong. All of us are wrong. He's just that dumb. That is so bad. Well, that's awful.
You watch the first half of the trailer. You watch the first half of the movie. The other half of the movie they don't show you involves a plot point where a side character becomes the main character out of nowhere, and she's just a really bad actress.
So that's my biggest problem here is, like, if you're gonna do a movie like this, the way that I liked Knives Out, I know some people didn't, the way Knives Out did it is better, because not all people say they revealed the killer in the first part. That's not true. She wasn't the killer anyways. And the way Rian Johnson subverted your expectations in that movie played out, and it was written really well compared to his Star Wars Last Jedi I've heard that we don't talk about. But that's the way you do that kind of movie. This is a subvert your expectations movie because he's a guy known for his twists, right? So you really think he wouldn't put the biggest twist in it's literally a trailer. I promise you. It's there. We were just being like, Kate, we'll give him the chance.
There's no
He's
way.
not gonna do it, right? No way.
Yeah.
No. Fuck, man.
No, go ahead, Dorno.
I honestly thought that it was gonna be he was not the killer.
Mm-hmm.
He was just like I thought the big twist could be he was someone who was trying to like copycat, or and then they were getting to finding the killer and he'd take over the mantle, or he would just be some dude and him getting killed.
I thought he was potentially being coerced to like he had to do this for somebody else who was the real killer. Yeah,
because the butcher wasn't there making him do things.
And it made it seem like that in the trailer. Yeah.
Well, for me, it's kind of like you guys in the fact that, they pretty much spoil what the twist is in the trailer. So for like the first maybe 25, 30 minutes of the movie, I'm like, okay, maybe there's another twist here that I'm not seeing that they're going to spring on us at the last minute. I thought maybe he's working with the police. Like maybe he's undercover, maybe he's trying to think like the kid. Yeah. Maybe he's trying to think like the killer so he could possibly catch him. You're constantly, as you're watching, you're constantly looking for these little nuggets to grab onto that could possibly lead you down a different path. But the problem is it doesn't go anywhere. It's like you said, the entire first half of the movie is in the trailer. If you've seen the trailer, you know what happens in the first half of the movie. And
not even sad, man. Not even sad. You've seen the entire first 2 acts of the movie. The entire first 2 acts are in the trailers. All of them.
Yeah.
The only thing that's not there is when they go on the limo. That's it.
I will say this. The first 2 acts of the movie where they're in the stadium and he's going around and he's trying to find a way out, it is effective. I will say that. I think Josh Hartnett, he's a great actor. I don't think I've seen him in a lot recently. I think the last thing I saw him in was 30 Days of Night.
He retired for a while after he made a movie with Harrison Ford.
Yeah, I think he did. But last thing I saw him in was 30 Days of Night. He does really good. And for me, there's a lot of people that are really mad about his acting choices. I didn't mind it too badly because he is playing a character that is literally pretending to be the good guy. He's not showing his true nature. He's awkward. He's calculating. So you're watching this psychopath trying to play up the fact that he's a good guy and go, hey, my daughter, are you having a good time? So when he's saying shit like that,
the whole movie,
you see the cracks in his armor form more and more as the story goes on. And I thought he did a good job.
Yeah, and this is the thing is, to be fair to M. Night Shyamalan, if you actually read the synopsis of the movie and you've seen the trailer, well, obviously Josh Hartnett is the butcher, but that is spoiled in the trailer though. So it's hard to get these kind of movies. You can't do that. I'm sorry, because where's the mystery then? Like people watch these to go like, I just kind of guess who the cast member is, or the twist is maybe it was the wife who obviously isn't the killer, but maybe that who it's.
I was expecting the girl to go into the bathroom and
that's what I thought too. She was gonna come out and
the
like,
butcher, and then it got how she says that and it gets quiet.
Yeah,
I was expecting the door to open, the wife to be like, "Yeah, I know."
Yeah, well, it's like I said,
that would have been a twist.
You're constantly waiting for that nugget to where they're like, okay, this guy is not the butcher, but the thing is, he does so much despicable shit in the first 2 acts of the movie
on the stairs. That already kind of says it right there.
Yeah, that, and plus, he goes into the little restaurant they have in the freaking arena, and he puts the vials of what is it? Is it like oil or something?
It's glass
oil. Yeah, you actually can do that. That's what happened if you do that. Yeah.
Yeah, he puts it in the frying oil, turns the thing up, and it explodes, and basically just eradicates some poor girl. So yeah. Once those things go down, you're like, okay, there really is no other twist. He's just the bad guy.
Yeah. I mean, it's not only just the cell phone moment. It's just when he pushed that girl down, you're like, okay, that's already pretty odd.
That's
he
pretty
pushed a girl down who's fainting, maybe like hungover, and he pushed. That's pretty fucked up right there. Yeah. So I want to ask you guys one thing very quickly. Was this movie rated R or was this PG-13? I forgot.
I don't know. I think it was rated R.
Honestly,
I think it was rated R. Hold on. Trap.
Because I'm pretty sure this is rated PG-13. I could be wrong.
Yep. No, you're right. It is PG-13.
Okay, so now I don't feel bad. I took my 12-year-old to see it. She loves horror movies.
Oh, no.
She loved it. Yeah. She loved it.
It's not about mostly if it's rated R PG-13. It's mostly about this movie being PG-13 hindered it completely. Because remember, keep in mind, this guy, Josh Hartnett's character, is the butcher. Like I mentioned earlier in the movie review, it's real in the trailer. He is the butcher. But throughout the movie, he actually never killed anybody. They don't show him actually killing anybody. He just does very despicable things. I'm not saying he's not the killer. He is. It's just, if you're going to buy me into this character, I think the movie being rated R would be more beneficial for it, because in this movie, there is a serial killer chopping people up and they never show you him actually killing anybody. That is just like stupid.
And the fact that they spend those he pushes the woman down the stairs and he scars the one girl in the restaurant. But other than that, he doesn't like kill anybody. And even once you get to like the final act of the movie where he's just screaming and losing his fucking mind, even then you're like, yeah, you're still not like, you're supposed to be this big serial killer, but you haven't proven, you haven't given me a reason to be fucking scared.
He scared me. I was scared. Here's follow me here. Follow me.
Okay.
It's a mental scare.
Mm-hmm.
I was afraid for the characters on screen.
No, that makes sense. The psychological aspect of it, I think. The part you're talking about when they were at the house, you were kind of fearing for the kids and everything. I thought that's when the movie would have gotten a little bit better. When they're at the house, maybe he's revealed obviously they find out he's the killer. He traps him in the room or puts her in a dungeon, something like that. I thought that was going to happen. It usually happens in movies like that. Yeah, because like that usually happens in movies like these. That's kind of what always happens, but it doesn't happen that way. Go ahead.
I was going to say, it does do a good job of building atmosphere and building tension. But the problem where it fell flat with me is that I just felt like there was no execution behind it. Like they spent all that time building up that tension and atmosphere only to do absolutely nothing with it.
Yeah. The movie feels better when it's in the concert trap feel. Once it moves out of that, I'm telling people, shit just goes off the rails. So before we get to that, I actually disliked more of the movie than probably most of you guys do. The things that I did like. So I'm not a father myself. Darnell is. He probably understand which parts I like. I did like the father-daughter dynamic and the immersive concert feel. I did like that. That was done very well to me. I feel like they really tried to get you into a concert feel if you've never actually been to one. And Matt Shyamalan, I don't know if his daughter ever wanted to be a singer or she has been a previous singer, but I feel like he did a pretty good job for his daughter to put her in that kind of position. I think she did an overall decent job. There were some parts I didn't like what she did, but overall, for her to be a convincing singer and for what they did in terms of like this concert, the overall tone and tension of the movie, I thought it was good. Those parts I did enjoy, honestly.
To kind of add on to Darnell's point about it being a mental scare too, one of the things I constantly thought about while watching this is, what is this movie trying to tell me? And it's the fact that he does seem so normal to a point, even when he's interacting with his daughter and he's just passing by all these people, at this concert, and no one suspects for a minute
shirt guy,
he's the killer. Yeah, is it playing off this idea that anyone around you could be a murderous psychopath? You don't know, because the thing is, when you hear about killers on the news or you see a picture of somebody who they reveal as a serial killer, you're like, dude, that guy looks completely normal. Like,
what's
that right?
Everyone will walk by at least 5 serial killers in their lifetime.
Yeah, that kind of thought right there is scary to me, because in our everyday lives, we go about our lives and not really think about anything like that. For all you could go to work or go out to the grocery and, like you said, be walking by somebody who's a complete and total psycho, and you would never know.
Yeah, but I think the reason why it fails in the movie is because after a certain point, it's him. Unless you are just some person that just honestly doesn't see that many movies to the point where you couldn't tell. So, because if you've seen enough movies and enough television, you can kind of tell these things. These are kind of like things you build up. As the movie goes on, he's a bad guy. You can.
I think the movie should have ended 15 minutes earlier.
Yeah, that's another problem with the movie. Scenes drag on way longer than they need to be.
Dude, it gets to a point where it feels like it's going to end, and then it doesn't end.
So
and then
actually, the runtime, is it an hour and 30 minutes?
It's an hour. It's an hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah, hour 45.
Way too long.
Well, here's the thing.
Like an hour 30.
Like
max,
I said, there comes a point in the movie, and I think you guys know the point I'm talking about, where it feels like, okay, this is a good ending place. You could end it here,
right?
But it keeps going, and then after that, it gets to another point where you would think it'd probably end, but then it keeps going, and I'm
Yeah.
just like, dude, like, when is this gonna fucking end? Like, what are you trying to do?
There
Or
was
tell me?
There was the part. Oh my god!
In the
When they were-
garage.
Oh, right there.
I thought the gate was coming up. And there was a bunch of cops. That's what
I thought it too. Right.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with the movie is that just in that act specifically, that's where the movie completely falls apart for me. Even outside of the big twist that I'll get into why that's really retarded later on.
Yeah.
And by
Also-
retarded, I mean I'm talking like Halloween Kills level. I'm not gonna rant as badly as that. That's just an endless cycle of just bad decisions. But this movie has a twist that is so bad. My brain actually dropped when this lady was talking because the more she revealed stuff, you're like, wait a minute, this all makes no sense. But before that, there's a part in the movie where the cops come when M. Night Shyamalan's daughter character Raven is saved, essentially.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna put back how stupid this is. They could literally swarm this guy. Somehow he like does a Houdini,
Yeah.
and
Well,
he ends up being the driver.
Well, hold on. That part
because
makes sense
you
to
don't see
me
him
because when you have I'm getting real life shit here. When there's a barricaded subject like that, you can't just rush the house.
Yeah,
So he had time to get to his escape route, and he could have snuck up behind the officer and gotten him.
yeah. But in
that part
moment,
I had no problem with.
well, but in that part, you can see him, and then like so forth. That's probably would have happened. Probably deleted scenes because it cuts right there, and then
They say we
she's
see
in the
him.
car. Yeah, but
They say we have eyes on him.
After that part, she's in the limo with who she thought was her bodyguard, and then it's him, and you're like, wait a minute,
No,
you
no,
need
no,
to
no.
show that stuff, right?
They did. They did.
Maybe I
They
fell
did.
asleep on that part. Maybe I dozed off.
They did. You hear the doors open, and you can tell it's Josh Hartnett, but he tells the driver. He tells the drivers. I can't remember exactly what he said, but he told the driver he was complete get up of his SWAT gear. He
How would he get to that point if they know he's the killer at that point? That guy should be in handcuffs.
Well, you saw
that guy should be locked down.
You saw so he's in the house while they're talking to him again. This is a problem with movies. There was probably
you're right.
close to 30,
I remember.
Probably 20, 30 minutes went down that we're not going to see while they're talking to him on the loudspeaker. He's getting to his escape hatch. He gets down, goes through, comes out, sneaks up behind an officer, probably kills him or hurts him, knocks him out, takes his gear, tosses it on. They had masks on too.
And then after that, another scene happens like that where they're literally in public and somehow he can just
that part bothered me because you can see through the windshield.
Yeah.
And they didn't see him strip
somehow
off and climb out.
This guy did a Goku instant transmission, teleported out of his fucking limo to go back to his house, even though at that moment, keep in mind, at this moment, he could literally just leave. No one would have found him. He actually would have escaped the trap. Actually safe. He goes back to his house to be trapped again.
But
that makes no sense whatsoever.
That's something that has tripped up a lot of serial killers. They want to go back, and they go back. That's a real life thing.
And the SWAT teams, FBI, right there. There's no way he could escape them anyway because there's only two ways to get out in a limo. Limos are very long. He actually got out, even though it was must teleport it out. There's no way you get out.
Well, it wasn't even the police. The entire limo was also just swarmed by people. So how did he? How? So there was literally no physical. And look, you can cry movie magic or science or whatever. I don't give a shit. There is no logical, realistic way for someone to Houdini out of a situation like that when there's like 100 pair of eyes looking at you.
In that scene, remember, it's only 2 away. He put the helmet and the gear in front to diverse him. It's like, all these cops are stupid. These people are just stupid. How did he? What?
It's like
he appears in the crowd.
Well, it's like even if he did that inside the limo, how the fuck did he get out of the limo?
No one saw the door open.
Nobody.
That's fucking hell. And then I have to reveal what the other twist is. So this is not in the trailers, but maybe you can. I was gonna say maybe you can provide better context because they completely lost me. I zoned out. I was like, wait, what? Wait a minute. So the real twist is so beyond stupid that on the surface level, I will say it even sounds more stupid when you break it down. So basically, long story short, the wife that we don't even see or hear about to the third act of the movie that they try to emotionally gauge you into no, you don't care about this character because you've not seen her throughout the entire movie. She reveals she knew he was the butcher. She found out things he was doing. Basically, long story short, she put 2 and 2 together. All right, I want to tell you guys how fucking stupid that is. Okay, so she figured out her husband was a serial killer, then knew the husband purchased tickets to Raven's concert with their 8-year-old daughter. She sent her serial killer husband. She sent her serial killer husband with her daughter to be alone. And she knew that might be the single-handed most dumbest thing I have ever heard in my entire life. What a piece of shit mother. The mother knew her husband was a serial killer and sent their 12-year-old daughter to be with him in a concert where he could, I don't know, kidnap her, leave her alone, get her killed being with him. That is like, holy shit, this movie is actually terrible. This movie is stupid.
This movie feels like it should have been like maybe an hour and 5 minutes. I'm not even going to say like an hour and 30 because all the stuff at the concert I think is actually pretty interesting to a point.
Yeah,
like I said, it does a good job of building tension and atmosphere. And I think it does a good job of putting you in his shoes. Like there's a moment where you're kind of rooting for him. You want to see how the hell he gets away from the police. But once they leave the arena and they get in that fucking limo, the whole movie just nosedives off a cliff.
I'm just saying, so that, you know how even worse that is in context? Not only did she put her daughter in grave danger knowing that guy's a serial killer, this lady also probably knew that guy was hiding people in that apartment because she knew he was a serial killer.
No, again, she went to the apartment and checked there was nothing.
So he did manage to cover that up.
Yeah.
But she
all they had was a chair.
But the fact that she knew he was a serial killer and then put her daughter in that position, like that.
Yeah. And look, hey, my daughter, we walked out, we get in the truck. It was me, my daughter, and a friend of mine. We get in the truck to come home, and she goes, "Dad, why did the mom not say anything to anybody?" I'm like, I don't know. My 12-year-old picked up on
writing that is because they're trying to convince you that the mom is like some nice, sane person, even though she reveals. That's why the reveal kills the entire movie. So that means that she knew he was a serial killer for, I think, about 2 weeks when he was doing, because it happened in about 2 weeks to a month of all those butcherings. Now that you know the butcherings, she put her 12-year-old daughter with a serial. Come on, she put her 12-year-old daughter with a serial killer to be trapped alone with him, and hoped that the FBI could capture him. They didn't. Like, what?
Now tell me, were you guys thinking this? Because this literally happens in the exact same scene where he goes to confront his wife and he takes off his shirt and he's got the knife and shit.
I thought he was gonna kill her.
I thought he was too, but all of a sudden he starts hallucinating his mother. Please tell me you were thinking, kill Jason, kill for mother. I was sitting there watching it, and I'm like, kill for mother, Jason.
Yeah,
I'm like, when did this turn into Friday the 13th? What the fuck is going on here?
He hallucinated her earlier a couple times.
So I was thinking to myself, wait a minute,
you kind of figured
this
out.
entire movie makes no sense. From what I just told you, what the actual big reveal is, why didn't she just call the FBI to get him before they even go to the concert? That would mean the entire movie makes the entire movie makes no sense and it's worthless. She literally just could have called the FBI at their house, captured him, no movie, or they get captured on the highway there, on the road there.
Yeah.
What a stupid fucking reveal. That might be the dumbest reveal in the entire history of movies. It makes the movie basically not a thing.
Let's talk about the FBI for a second. There's two things that bothered me before we got to the end. And I talked about this on the way home with my buddy and my daughter. One, movies like this, everything they show has a meaning. Everything.
It has to, given how serious it is.
But there's one thing that I still cannot find a meaning for. At one point, he's back at the seat with the daughter. There's a cup on the floor. The camera's focused on the cup, and you see him drop something in the cup. What did he drop in the cup? What was the purpose of it? Have no clue. They never did. I felt like it was put in there
to confuse
you.
The ending. Remember how she says you're gonna have because in prison you gotta have your one last meal before they whatever. Okay, people. She says she's gonna feed him cake. And this guy, come to find out, he's not eating cake. He's eating stuff you give to animals to knock them out.
It was probably like pain medication or something.
I think it's called a sedative.
Yeah. It's something. Yeah, something.
I don't understand how stupid that is. Not the actual giving him the sedative. Oh my god. How
trying
would
to
he
stall him?
Does he know what everyone would know out their adult life what cake tastes like? How would he not know he's not tasting cake?
To be fair, if you got she gave him a piece of pie, and I think they mentioned it earlier. I think the Shyamalan's daughter mentioned how rich it was, how sweet it was. You can hide it's documented. You can hide poison in a very sweet cake. One of my classes I've taken in law enforcement was about serial killers and stuff like that. And oftentimes there's a lot of medicines and poisons that are flavorless, and it looks like just confectionery sugar.
Okay.
Speaking of missed opportunities, I really think if they wanted to do a crazy, third act like they tried to do in this movie, instead of having this whole Raven thing where she's the main character all of a sudden, why not just keep him as the main character and have him go up against Haley Mills' character? She plays the FBI profiler.
Oh my God.
Because they spend so much time trying to build her up and
building her up.
Yeah,
I was about to say that.
Yeah, you're kind of sitting there watching it. You're like, okay, does he have some history with her? Has he have they crossed paths before? No, apparently not. They literally introduced her.
She looks like his mom.
She's in the movie she looks like his mom. That's it. Other than that, she's fucking useless. They do nothing with her. They have all this setup and build up, and they do absolutely nothing with it.
Do you know what's the dumbest thing with her character? She takes his phone and then has enough time to live stream. That's what you would do in that situation. He has a cell phone that clearly has phone service. Why did she, call her the police herself instead of live streaming?
That's what she's doing.
She live streamed because it was supposed to tell mass people, hey, go and check this apartment if you live there.
Also, I know. Side note, I know that this is M. Night Shyamalan's
That's been done
daughter
before
who's
as well,
playing
in
Raven.
real life.
I know this is M. Night Shyamalan's daughter, playing the singer in the movie. She's a good singer, but I'll tell you right now, keep that girl away from acting. Oh my God. Oh,
and look,
cringe.
She may be good, but she did the best of what she had.
Some moments. Some of them were okay.
I can't name a movie I've seen in the past year that made me cringe from dialogue like her.
Yeah. She had the right facial expressions. The dialogue was not translating very well. But that's why this movie isn't good. She should have never been in that position as a character anyway. She was supposed to be this singer. It's supposed to be us as kids. When we go to a concert, potentially our dream is to meet our favorite singer or rapper or whatever. But the thing is, that's supposed to be a dream. They made the dream into a reality, and they had to force her to be a character, which in reality, it should have just stayed as, this little girl idolizes this lady singer. That's what it should have been.
I get what they were trying to do with it, but they failed.
This movie feels like what should have been maybe a 45-minute short film on YouTube. It feels like someone shot a 45-minute short film about a serial killer trying to get away from the police at a concert, but they just took that initial concept and threw in a third act that makes no fucking sense and didn't need to be there.
Third act is just so. My God. Then before the big reveal that I mentioned earlier that is just awful and ruins the entire movie, he just tells her he's the killer.
I don't think it ruins I don't think
that didn't bother me either, because that's a serial killer.
Well, no, it's not that it even bothered me. It was just more like, could he just not have told her that? And then because the daughter knew her at that moment. Couldn't he have just asked her, hey, could we get out of here with you? Because maybe she has a cancer or blah, blah, blah that he made up. Did he have to tell her he was a serial killer?
Oh, yeah, that's what I thought too. Like he was gonna I thought he was gonna go in the dressing room. He brought a carbon monoxide. I thought he was gonna knock her out and be like
that's what I thought.
We gotta get her out of here. She's passed out.
Or I thought that's a great idea too. It was just I thought he was gonna bring up maybe, hey, could you get us out of here? Because I get it, something like that. Did he really have to reveal that he was the killer?
No, he didn't.
He really did it, honestly.
I don't know.
Throughout the first two acts avoided everything. Everything. I don't know what this movie was trying to do. It's really
you know what that was? That was just forced tension. That's all it was.
It's just unneedlessly stretched out movie for no reason whatsoever. Because the movie's premise is already ruined by the fact that you know who the killer is. The tension and buildup is good and bad in some places. It's immersive in other places. This is a really just bad contrived movie. If you really
it's a
think
great
about
concept.
it's an awesome concept. Honestly,
it's a cool concept. And like I said, and this is where I think my opinion opposes yours, MSK. I don't think the third act ruins the first two acts, because for the first two acts, I was engaged. I was interested. I was like, okay, we know he's the killer already, but I kind of want to see what he's going to do. Like, how is he going to evade the police? And, you know, if they had just ended it after they left the theater, I mean, after they left the concert, the movie probably would have been solid. You know, it would have been an all right watch. But since they decided to stretch it out and just keep it going, and they just decided to fill this movie with a bunch of
that's why the third act is bad. Like that's what the third act is ruins the entire movie. It's forced right when it's the whole like, okay, the little girl met her, she had a chance to go on the stage with her. Okay, he's avoiding them. All right, even in the first two acts, scenes are just dragging out the forced tension, the forced dialogue with that one random lady with the daughter. The daughters never interact. So that never has any payoff, even though they say daughter treated her bad.
It does. Like you may have been sued for this. They show when she goes on stage to dance.
I saw the scene where the daughter's mad. Yeah.
So the daughter. So like all that drama is probably caused by the daughter because she's a piece of shit and her mom's a piece of shit. That's the payoff for that.
No, I saw that. I was just like, I was hoping for more of a dialogue exchange or a meeting. But then again, that's just me being a purist because I'm a rich, hot, good-looking man.
Also, to add salt to injury, you know, this is the cherry on top. This is the straw that broke the camel's back a little bit. Is that
the other ones that we've mentioned?
They try to leave this movie off on a cliffhanger where they're trying to set up for a sequel that you know this movie's not going to get.
I'll just say right now, if there's a sequel announced and somehow he just gets out of that truck, this would be one of the worst movies ever.
They pretty much tell you he's going to get out of the truck. He gets out of the handcuffs and just kind of smiles at the camera like a damn dork.
The buddy and my daughter both asked, how's he going to get out? I said, listen, in real life, he wouldn't. There's going to be multiple cops there, guns drawn to begin with. In movie life, he'll probably rush the door, grab a gun, you know, he'll get away. Movie magic, that's what happens. But that's where the movie killed me. The very end, when he's walking towards his mother and they tase him.
That was the final strike for me.
Hold on. Yeah. Understandable. And my buddy was like, how does that not work? It's like, bro, I've watched dudes get hit with 6, 8, 12 probes and keep walking through that shit. Excited delirium or drug use. And he had excited delirium and he was drugged up.
Yeah.
So, but when he rushed that one and he had him down with his thumbs in his eye, that other guy would have unloaded an entire magazine into his back.
Just even that part didn't, because I was already almost about to get the rope for that
part
lady revealing that shit. Because for me, the lady reveal, which is the ultimate twist, that almost made me get the fucking rope and maybe actually drink bath salts or eat bath salts or some shit. That was just bad.
The other part that killed me was when he gets to the bike. He stands it up and puts the kicks. I knew he was putting the kicks. I'm like, it's OCD. He's got to stand it up. I get it. But when he literally went down and got back up, not long enough to break. When they zoom in on the bike wheel, the bike wheel was not rusted. It was not damaged in any way. So he sat there and took a fresh spoke, broke it off in 2 seconds. Didn't sense. And now look, the way he's chained, his hands cannot go higher than this.
Yeah.
They can't.
They can't even expand.
They have to been working at it, and they would have seen him do it. No, that's the other part that ruined the movie for me.
In your part, because I told you before, I was with a cop too. This guy putting his fingers in another FBI's bro, just actually blow his brains out at that point. He actually just unload that guy.
Yeah. The other officer would have moved to where he wasn't shooting through him to the other cop, like to the side or something, and just unloaded him.
The part before that. So, we mentioned earlier that he's in the limo trying to capture Raven. Somehow, just because he has instant transmission, he can get out of this, which makes no sense at all. Turns out, also another twist, because this guy just loves this cinnamon twist. Fucking hell. The mother...
Shyamalan went overboard on the twists in this movie.
The mother and the FBI agent leader knew he'd come back. So they concocted that plan for him to eat that cake with that sedative to knock him out. Wait a minute. That means they knew he was coming back, had a chance to enter the house. They could have just captured him then. but they let him get next to her, potentially trying to kill her. They know he's not a sane person.
Yeah.
What movie are we watching? This is bad.
To be fair,
just makes no sense.
To be fair, name me a movie where they set that up and they caught the bad guy. It never happens because the bad guy either has a feeling before he gets in the house, or gets in the house, has a feeling, and gets away before they can spring the trap on him.
Well, Jason Goes to Hell, the final Friday. I mean,
that's what I said. To be fair, that happened at the beginning, and then he still went on a killing spree. Fuck off.
You said name me one. I was like, okay.
At the end, it never works when they're about to catch him for the final time. It never works. So to be fair, I'm with you, but at the same time, like, yeah, well, if they'd have written it, if they'd have done that, he would have had a feeling and not going in the house, or he'd have gotten out the house.
Because it's crazy because after that scene, you don't see Raven anymore. She puts her hand on that one guy who's been captured.
And then the girl she touches is the one who said, "I know the house."
Yeah, she's not seeing the movie anymore. It's just, man. So I want to ask you. We'll start with Nate too. Just your closing thoughts on the movie. Actually, pretty sure we've covered all the bases of it. Honestly,
I was going to ask, did you guys laugh at the after credit scene?
Yes, that was hilarious.
I did.
That was fun.
I was like, that's pretty funny.
I'm never talking to anyone at work again.
I know that guy. I helped that guy. I'm never talking to anyone again. Dude, my God.
I'm glad that had some payoff, because if that didn't have any payoff, you're supposed to believe that a guy with trusted information like that would just give it out to just a random firefighter. That would never happen, guys. Like, so stupid. Has that ever happened? Really? That happened.
I don't know if I would go that far, but
he gave the private code to a random firefighter that they trusted him with.
I'm not gonna say undercover, but I've worked sort of undercover places, and part of what we were told was see if you can get someone to give you information who works to protect the environment, protect the area. See if you can get one of the employees to give you information so we can find and plug a leak. And people without any training want to be important. They want to feel like they have a purpose. And I could see him telling him that, especially knowing he's a first responder. He wants to kind of like, I'm like one of you guys. No. That does happen quite a bit. So my buddy was like, "Does that happen?" I'm like, "Yes, that happened."
One thing I almost forgot. M. Night Shyamalan does do a guest appearance in the movie. He's the guy that you saw give the girl the okay to go on stage. It was the uncle, which is, it's so he's certainly one of the directors ever. I will give him that.
I like this cameo.
I've said it before, and I'll say it again.
You can tell his daughter is just. M. Night Shyamalan, if your daughter's single, I mean, come on,
hit this man up.
I have said it before. I'll say it again. M. Night Shyamalan. You said he's one of the directors of all time.
He's certainly one of the directors.
He is the walking human epitome of just throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks.
Bro.
Because occasionally you'll get a split, and on occasion you'll get you'll get a happening.
9 times out of 10, you'll get a trap. Sorry, the joke was leading there. But yeah, Darnell, we'll start with you, man. Any closing thoughts you want to say about M. Night Shyamalan's newest film, Trap? Before we had
it wasn't bad. I would say it's not movie theater.
It wasn't bad. It sure was.
Rent it, buy the DVD, buy it online, whatever. It was a good little movie. The two things I mentioned at the end, the two officers both not well, he's got another guy's life in his hands, literally doesn't get shot, and then the literal 5 seconds to stand the bike up was not long enough to pull the spoke. I do have to say I was half expecting a connection to Split or Unbreakable in this. I was half expecting it.
But then that's the twist we didn't get.
Everything's going to tie back to Unbreakable and Bruce Willis somehow, right?
I had a feel. I was like, man, there's going to be some kind of connection to this. But no.
That's the twist. This movie took place the same day Unbreakable happened.
Nate, any your closing thoughts on the movie?
Like I said, M. Night Shyamalan is the human epitome of just throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks. To me, this movie, once again, it's a classical case of you got a really cool idea, but you really don't know how to 100% execute it. I thought I thought Josh Hartnett did a really good job. You know, he was genuinely creepy for what they did with him. You know, there were moments where, you know, you really got to see him shine through as a psycho. I still think, you know, like you pointed out earlier, if they had given this an R rating, they probably could have leaned into it a little bit more. But I think for what they did with this rating and what they did with him, it worked. And you were invested in him enough to see, you wanted to see, okay, how the hell is he going to get out of this situation? I think if they had just kept it, you know, at maybe an hour and 15, you know, do the whole concert thing, and then they had ended it after that, this would have been a nice little solid, you know, thriller from the POV of, you know, the killer, you know, the psycho. But what ultimately ruins, you know, my rating for it is the third act that is just so jumbled, so awfully written, and just so balls to the walls fucking insane that you're just kind of sitting there watching it like, dude, what are we doing? Like I said, they had a really cool idea, really cool concept, but it really just fell through with its execution because of this third act. But overall, it's no happening. And I mean, if it was on TV again, I'd check it out. You know, I'm not going to jump on the band hate
wagon
like you do.
Me, I'll just say that. So for me, I know there's going to be plenty of articles coming out about like how did she know, because it was crazy. There's going to be articles coming out, like I just mentioned earlier, that she knew he was the killer. First of all, those would make no sense because they tell you in the movie how she knew everything. So reading that's a waste of time. I'm just saying, in the future, if you ever see articles trying to explain the ending of this movie, just go actually Google the scene on YouTube and watch it yourself. There's no reason to read it when she tells you everything that happens. Yep. That reveal is one of the stupidest reveals for a movie ever. It makes the movie completely useless, makes it not even worth even checking out because it completely erases the fabric of the movie. She reveals she knew this guy was a serial killer because she smelled cleaning supplies, blah, 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 all that shit. She let her 12-year-old daughter go to a fucking concert with a serial killer.
And
he
somehow
could have been captured multiple times throughout the movies. Multiple times this guy could be captured in the movie.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And somehow that twist is still not as terrible as the plants are trying to kill Mark Wahlberg and his family.
Thank God it wasn't that bad. I'd have got the road.
Now, I do have to say,
mm-hmm.
My buddy brought that up after we saw the movie, and I said, well, I can justify, well, not justify, I can sort of explain her actions with this. If she would have just gone to someone and said, hey, my husband's the butcher, that could have
had evidence.
Well, all she had was the house. Now you see, she went with the empty house.
Right.
His clothes smelled, and that was it. She had nothing. She put two and two together herself and found his bag. Now the bag could have been enough to start an investigation. I think what she did was she took what she had and skipped the investigation, which would have taken months. Because in a real situation like this, there is months and months of evidence gathering to catch someone. I think what she did by leaving the receipt and calling the tip in, that is more effective than if she'd have walked in and said, my husband's the butcher. She probably would have been laughed out of the building at that. So what she did was a little more effective.
It's one of those movies where the reveals just make everything worse and worse.
You have to know this stuff.
Because the thing is, she knew in advance because the concert was set in advance. She knew that he had purchased a ticket for their daughter. This was in the movie. I know they're going to discuss the movie online because the twist is really contrived. She knew in advance because the concert is set in advance. She knew the concert itself is set in advance because they purchased the tickets 2 weeks before.
The daughter said, not the daughter, the singer said something in the movie which didn't make sense at the end when she said, I found the receipt. Yeah. The daughter said, not the daughter, the Shyamalan's daughter said, this concert was put together to catch the butcher.
Yes, that means that has to be in advance.
But later, the wife says, I found a ticket in your pocket, and then I called the tip in.
Yeah, this is why
that didn't make sense.
The way the reveal is stupid. The movie's just
bad editing.
It's badly written. The third act is, my God, just goes on. First of all, not only are the twists make the movie not just basically a negative movie where it shouldn't exist anyway. Because this thing, please make this in your mind, guys. She knew eventually. Long story short, she finds out he's a serial killer, okay? So we know that. they go through all this to set a trap for him. Why didn't they just arrive and do all this when they leave for the concert at their house and capture him? What's
Or
the movie
be there
need
when
to
he
even
comes
be?
back.
Yeah, what does the movie even need to happen for? It's one of the dumbest reveals I have ever heard a character say. It's beyond bad. Then the things, okay, so I did like the daughter-father relationship is cool. The immersive concert feel is cool. Some of the dialogue is just, outside of those two, is really bad. Like, Nate got a dialogue is bad in this movie. This is just like, bro, this is awful. If it's not the daughter and dad interacting, then the dialogue is worthless, honestly. Honestly, it's trash at that point. Just to, like, people are gonna ask me, would I go to the theater seats? I always do this with every movie since I've been doing this. Always go and watch for yourself, judge for yourself, make your own decisions for yourself. Now, if you're asking me my own personal opinion, outside of just that general rule I have for myself, you can just buy this on 4K, HD, Blu-ray, whatever it's going to get released on later on. If this gets released on streaming in 2 weeks, that's good. This movie does not deserve to make money. This movie's terrible.
If there's nothing else you want to watch and this intrigues you, go see it in the theater. If there's something else you want to see, I would say hold off on this so you don't feel like you've invested too much into the going see this. It's a not one of his better twist movies, but it's an okay movie.
Ironically, Speak No Evil is probably going to be the better version of what this movie should have been.
Probably.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Like, did I hate my time watching this? Well, no, I always enjoy watching movies on the big screen in general. So even if it's a bad movie, I still enjoy going and having
unless it's family camp
or Eternals.
Unless it's Halloween
Ends.
or Eternals. Oh my God, fucking hell. Unless it's those, obviously not. It's just, yeah. Would I check out more movies from this guy? You know what? Given how much this actually made me do this, probably. He's a director that does invoke emotion to people. I think that's really rare to people that still do. So that's, if you're asking me, if it's, once this comes to streaming and you watch this on streaming, you're probably going to be happy you saved some money on this. Like, if you want to wait, go ahead and wait. It's not a movie I would be paying like Dolby, IMAX ticket prices for.
No.
Deadpool Wolverine, Despicable Me 4 potentially. Yeah, this you can wait till streaming for. Just being honest here. So that was our movie review of M. Night Shyamalan's newest film, Trap. Make sure you guys go and check out Darnell Quigley and Fumito Nate's YouTube channels and Twitters. I'm going to leave them linked in the description box below. Give them follows and subs on their YouTube channels and Twitter accounts, actually. And thank you guys for checking out this video. I'm MSK, aka Master Swag King. Make sure you guys, if you're new or returning viewer, subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it. Comment down below. And hit the notification bell. That way you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video or go live. And we will see you guys later. Have a great day, everybody. Peace.